Alrighty. Get my leg in there. Wait a few minutes here. Feels weird streaming GT7 in this manner because I had to set up my capture card all over again. And it's been so long that I forgot the setup process. So it almost felt like I was troubleshooting. So it took me about an hour to get this thing set up. And then the other thing that I found out that when you're at the dashboard, for whatever reason, the capture card won't show it. The screen goes black. So I had to go into the game in order to get a display. So yeah, it looks like I don't get a display for the dashboard anymore, and that's no big deal anyway. So
Brutalsome de Guru said, "Oh she idiot, my boy on GT7."
Brutal Sim, what's good? Damn, your timing, man! You got here so fast. I ain't even give it. I wasn't even able to give you a shout real quick. But let me go through my introductions real quick. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay. And we are back for a rare GT7 stream. But more than anything, yeah, I'm going to do a race. I'm already registered for a race. But I want to talk about the state of PSVR 2. The adapter coming up here August 7th, which will make this PSVR 2 headset compatible with PC. I wanted to talk about why I think this is happening, what I think the result of recent events. Speaking of the PSVR 2 headset going on sale, I'm gonna speak on what I think the end result of that could be, and talk about whether I think it's worth it for you to pick up PSVR for PC. So, I mean, I guess this conversation has been a long time coming, but it's not a perfect situation. There's some good and there's some bad, and when I point out,
Brutalsome de Guru said, "Yeah, that should be interesting."
absolutely, and I steered away. I kept saying to you guys that I'm going to talk about it, and I kept ducking the issue because, again, it's got some good and it's got some bad, and to me, my opinions on the negative aspect of it sounds it kind of sounds kind of harsh. So I didn't want to be a negative Nancy, and I even put it to a vote on my channel. I did a poll and asked all of you if you wanted to see it or not, and you voted yes. And I was going to do it, and at the last minute, I just could not bring myself to do it. And the situation with PSVR 2 definitely has everybody divided. I think there are some people fighting tooth and nail for their belief that Sony will continue to support this headset, and then there are those this adamant that Sony has given up on the headset. So I didn't feel like I could give my opinion without taking heat from one side or the other. Almost get this vibe on Twitter that if you're on this side of the fence, the people on that side of the fence don't want anything to do with you, or they're keeping a distance from you. So if you are a person that believes that it's doom and gloom for the PlayStation VR 2, then the ones that still support it and still believe that Sony supports it don't want to be anywhere near you. So but I should have just got my thoughts out of the way a long time ago and let that be that. How much time do we got before a race starts? We got 6 minutes. So I guess I can try to condense it in that, because I'm not even going to bother qualifying. Oh, you know what? This is an endurance race. I didn't even take the time to see what the parameters of this race is going to be. Hold on, folks. Because I don't know if it's a mandatory pit stop or not. Is there a mandatory pit stop? Yep, there's at least one pit stop. Okay. If my audio ends up sounding funny...
Brutalsome de Guru said, mediums and 1 pit mandatory.
Yep. Let's see. If my audio ends up sounding funny, I don't know what it is running this through the capture card. Some of the music sounds like it's underwater or something. This is crazy. I've already been up all day just troubleshooting and troubleshooting and troubleshooting. So I love PCs, but when you get a headache, it's a big one. And I'm still sorting everything out with this new chip that I got, the AMD 7800X3D, because I switched motherboards. I had an Intel motherboard, which you see right here.
Brutalsome de Guru said, everything sounds fine.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this was my previous motherboard. It had a water cooler. This is an Intel motherboard, a DDR5 motherboard, and underneath this cooler is an i9 12900K. I do think that the 12900K is probably better for multitasking, because it's got 16 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores, and stuff like my MetaQuest Pro here, OBS and other apps. I can put them on the efficiency cores and keep the game strictly on the performance cores. Well, in the case of this 7800 AMD processor, it is strictly a performance chip. It's 8 cores, all performance. So stuff like the MetaQuest app, the Oculus Mirror, whenever I open up speech chat, all that stuff cuts into the performance cores. So I've been like spending all day trying to find every way possible to take shortcuts and minimize the extra stress on the PC that's coming from apps that I feel that should be running in the background. So I've gone back to the 2 PC setup. I'm sitting here with my gaming PC, and I still got my other 2 PCs. That one right there, the streaming PC in the bedroom, and then my backup PC, which essentially is for my son when he comes over, because when my son first got into PC and gaming, when he used to come over on the weekends and take the main computer, well, that's a problem, because now I can't do anything until he leaves. So I ended up building a second and a third PC, so when he comes over, he does not invade my PC here. You know, in the backup PC, it's got a 3080 Ti in it, so it's got more than enough power to run the games that he wants to play. But every now and then he will jump on this computer because it's got a 4090 in it, and he wants to see some of his games in all the 4K ray tracing glory. So how much time we got? We got 2 minutes. All right. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is just go ahead and do the race, and then we'll talk about this PlayStation the PC thing afterwards, because I don't want to try to talk about this in the middle of the race, because somewhere I'm going to end up losing focus and flying off the track. And do keep in mind that with GT7 we are dealing with some of the dirtiest racers, the dirtiest people in sim racing. GT7 racers and Forza racers are pretty much the dirtiest racers in sim racing. For those of you who saw my stream earlier on Le Mans Ultimate, that is the definition of clean racing. Although I did have an incident, I did a second daily race off stream, and I had a situation where there was a couple of guys brake checking on purpose at the race start, and then we also had a guy who wrecked, and he was upset that his race was over, so he parked his car in the middle of the track so everybody could run into him. But that's the extent of the dirty racing that you deal with on Le Mans Ultimate. It doesn't happen wheel to wheel. The dirty racing comes from people who are upset because they spun out, they wrecked, whatever, they want to mess up somebody else's race, but it doesn't happen often. So I think it's about time to put the headset on. Let's do this. Oh, shite. So I'm going to be starting dead last since I didn't qualify. I forgot to turn the volume up too. Oh well. It's for the better anyway, because then I'll be able to hear you guys in the when I'm racing. So yeah, it looks like I'm dead last. Oh shit. I forgot to set up my base shakers. I got no base shakers. Cause yeah, I rebuilt the computer, did a fresh install, got to start everything over from scratch. So I forgot to forgot to set my base shakers up for this game. All right, we'll get through it. What are they holding up for?
Kwaski said, "What UPS link?"
What's good? What's good, Kwaski? What's this all about? Oh, come on, dude. Move it. This street looks glazed too.
Brutalsome de Guru said, racing without base shakers ain't it?
Yeah!
I can't go back once I got exposed.
Same, I feel naked. Yeah, the car feels a little bit slippery. I mean, I guess with these new physics. I mean, in the past, even with medium tires, you still had pretty good grip.
Brutalsome de Guru said, it definitely is more slippery with the update.
Yeah, see? Because in the past, you know, the physics felt a little more arcadey. I already know this guy's gonna block me. He's blocking me and he's going slower. Come on, dude, move it. Really, dude? That's why I need my base shakers.
Brutalsome de Guru said, LOL.
Oh my goodness. So this is a 10-lap race. I don't want to come in just yet, but ugh.
Brutalsome de Guru said, that will happen a lot with the update as well.
Oh my lord. Yeah, you definitely gotta trail brake more than usual. Oh my god! Damn, I'm smoking that shit today. So lap times on this track, I usually use my ACC lap times as a reference. I don't know what my best lap time is on this game, but I will say my best lap time on this track on ACC, I believe, is a 201.9. Somebody already came into the pits. Yeah, we're coming in next lap. We're already halfway through this race. Oh my god! The crazy part is there's a car right there in front of me. This is not one of my better showings on GT7, so come on, don't take that long to get to the... Come on now! Don't take that long! Oh my god! 3-second penalty. That's one of the bad things about...
Brutalsome de Guru said, "It's pretty good by my standard, but you're more experienced than me."
Oh, I've won a fair share amount of races on this game, but I've been away from this game for so long because I had just got disgusted with the dirty racing.
Brutalsome de Guru said, "That same thing happened to me. 3 SEC penalty going into the pit is annoying."
The thing about it is you come out automatically, and then the game relinquishes control. Oh, the penalty. When you come out of the pits, it just randomly turns the controls back over to you, and if you're not ready for it, you're going to cross that line and get hit with a silly penalty.
Brutalsome de Guru said, "That's why I had to take a break from the racing as well. The racing etiquette is terrible."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hopefully he won't try to ram me to get his spot back. Oh yeah, he way in the rear view. I don't got to worry about him. Yeah, this track is glazed. You can see how shiny the track is.
Brutalsome de Guru said, "It's definitely glazed."
Yeah, it feels slippery too. Right there, I almost nearly lost it. This is where my base shakers would have helped, because I would have felt the back end coming loose. I actually see a car up there. Imagine what I could have done if I would have qualified. I was about to kiss that wall.
Brutalsome de Guru said, "A lot of players quit out this race."
Bathurst is it is a tricky track if you do not know it. It doesn't matter what sim you're playing it, whether you're playing it on GT7, ACC. It is a tricky track. And trying to pass on the mountain is not smart. Well, I finished 8th and started 12th, so I did jump up a few spots, but I think that I could have done a lot better had I qualified. Well, I raised my position 5, so where am I? So I'm still B classed, but I did raise my driver and my safety rating. Let's see here. Let's exit out of this. I might do one more session. Let's see how much time we got, because I still want to get into the PSVR 2 thing. Oh shit. We'll go ahead and do one more.
Weelson said, new sub here.
Hey, thank you.
Love GT7 and VR.
Thank you for the sub. You know what? Let's take a quick second to talk about what my lineup is going to be, because I also race on. I've raced mostly on PC. I don't race that much on GT7. I haven't done it in quite a while because I've gotten tired of the dirty driving. 2024 is a huge year for sim racing. I mean, they just had the big update for this game here last week. We got the DLC for Le Mans Ultimate last week. We got an update for Rensport. You know, we got a car and we got a track, and they gave us a BMW hypercar on both Rensport and Le Mans Ultimate. You know, a couple of months ago. We've got the big update coming up for Automobile Lister 2 version 1.6, and along with that, we're going to get low fuel motorsports support on Automobile Lister 2, which is going to be huge. I'm absolutely looking forward to that. And we have Assetto Corsa Evo also coming up here pretty soon. And then I haven't even talked about the other sims that I haven't touched in a while, like our Factor 2 Race Room, the original Assetto Corsa Competizione, all those games. So 2024 is a huge year for sim racing this year. I mean, my plate's going to be full. So what I'm looking to do, as far as my lineup goes, I'm looking to do at least one Le Mans Ultimate stream a week. Once Rensport gets on track, and once we get version 1.6, I'm looking to do one stream a week for those sims as well. One sim a week once we get Assetto Corsa Evo. So that's 4 sims we're talking about right there. Where does this fall? A lot of it, I guess it depends on the daily race, because I don't like racing on tracks that I'm not good at, and GT3s are my preference. So if it's a track I like and it's a GT3 or Group 3 class, then yeah, I'll do it. So I mean, technically I had walked away from this game because I had gotten so frustrated with it. But you know, a good chunk of this channel, you know, I've been around YouTube. I've been on YouTube, I think, for about 7 years, and I only got 1,600 subs. But a good chunk of those people came from watching me play Gran Turismo Sport on PSVR when there was no daily races, when I was just doing time trials where I'm the only car on the track. People still tuned in to see that. So so I guess in that sense, I guess I should come back to the game and, you know, give back to the people that supported me over the years, and come back to this game in some capacity. So
Brutalsome de Guru said, It's the same for me, GT3 and the right daily track.
Yep. I love GT3. Now, overall, I love GT3. I love GTE. As far as Gran Turismo goes, I like the Group 2 cars. I like the Group C cars. Other games, I like the hypercars too, even though I suck at them. I don't drive hypercars that much because I'm just absolutely trash on them. But yeah, getting right down to it, on this game, I like Group 3 and Group 2 cars, and the Group C cars. I like the retro cars, the Mazda 787B, the Sauber Mercedes. Other games, I like GT3, GTE, and hypercars, and yeah, the Group C cars. But I probably say I'm at my best with GT3 and GTE. All right. So we'll do this race, and then we'll get into this PSVR 2, the PC thing that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully I'll do a lot better. The track is glazed. I'm on medium tires, so I'm probably going to have to brake a little bit.
Rodney Wheeler.
Hey, Rodney!
Said, sim racing as a whole has taken a dip even though new games in VR have came out. Maybe sim racing hasn't exploded, but I don't think it's died either. I'm dead last. Oh my god. So I gotta put my head down like this before the race starts, because if you look up when they finally put you in the cockpit, the dashboard is gonna be right Rodney
under your
Wheeler
eyelid.
Said, less streamers.
From what I'm seeing, a lot of the same guys that I've been watching for years are still there.
Son said, fair enough. Personally love Group 5 the most. Just wish it was in GT7. Loved it in Project Cars too. Rodney Wheeler said, my favorite sim racing channels post less.
Oh, cool. Oh, shit. Yeah, that track is slippery. And I'm on medium tires, so this is actually a garbage combo. I love this track and I love the GT3 cars, but they... Oh, look at this guy. He bumped me trying to dive underneath me. Seriously, dude. Oh my God. Nice.
Son said, cold tires.
Oh, and I sat there looking at this dude. Need to be thinking about lucky stars. Oh, so he's going for an undercut.
Son said, Spend the first couple laps warming them up.
What the hell? He's got a penalty still, no point in fighting him. Oh shit!
Weedielson said, traction control might be more viable now after the update. More like ACC.
True, that is true. Well, my biggest problem is with the braking. I can feel more cracks and dips in the road too. So I think they might have did something with the force feedback as well.
Weilson said, "Yeah, I'm loving the new physics. More realistic." Rodney Wheeler said, "I know if Sony brings GT7 to PC that would make a lot of people happy."
Honestly, if they brought GT7 to PC, there wouldn't be a reason for me to keep my PS5. I mean, the headset's already going to PC, so if they brought the game to PC, there wouldn't be a reason for me to keep my PS5. Had to make sure we don't get that penalty.
Rodney Wheeler said, ever considered going all the way and get motion rig set up?
Oh, I plan to do that once I get a house. But I don't have the money to buy a full-blown rig, but I do want to get actuators. They're basically like hydraulic legs that act like a simulator, like a motion rig.
Weilson said, thing is you need a PC that's 3x the price to run VR properly. I have a 4070 and I'm afraid it's going to run average once the adapter drops.
Oh, I'm just fine. I got a 4090. I've got 3 PCs. My main PC that I'm sitting in front of right now has a 4090. My secondary PC has a 3080 Ti. And my third PC has a 3070 Ti. So yeah, I'll be fine as far as specs goes.
Rodney Wheeler said, no bro, I have a 4070 Ti and I can run anything so far that has come out.
Yeah, I can pretty much run anything. My big thing
Rodney Wheeler said, you should be fine. Weilson said, yeah, hope so.
So yeah, as far as if there's any game that my 4090 couldn't run, a lot of it probably had to do with optimization.
Wheelson said, "At Lincoln your tire wear is looking a lot better. How's the grip now?"
It's still slippery. I'm just braking a little bit early, and I'm trail braking. Because this track is definitely glazed. I've seen these conditions before on this game, especially at this track. For these conditions, you have to, on the tight corners, you pretty much have to trail brake it around the corners.
Wheelson said, "Moisture on the track, especially at 18 degrees. That was one of my better laps. So I started last and finished 7th. Not bad. So I haven't even qualified yet. So I think it's a safe bet to say maybe I could have finished 5th or 6th if I would have qualified. Well, that's not a guarantee because this is GT7. People will knock you off the track. But surprisingly, this was a clean race. I don't have a problem with people defending their position, so if they block me, that's fine. That's part of racing. Wheelson said, "Well done, dude."
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. Safety rating. I think I might be maxed out. I think I got an S. Safety rating. But yeah, I did boost my driver ratings. So let's see how much we got to do to get to the A. To get to driver class A. And I think while I'm at it, I will... Oh, so driver class, I'm looking at it right there. Driver rating B, I'm about halfway there to A. So, I don't know. maybe if I don't qualify and keep finishing in the middle of the pack, maybe I could keep working my way to the A class. Who knows? I've been to the A class before, but it was really tough for me to stay there because those guys are really fast in the A class. They're also aggressive too. So let's go open this ticket. Star, let's take it. $10,000 credits. Oh my god. That's gonna save the world.
Rodney Wheeler said, I missed your Forza videos. Liv, what's your opinion of game?
Just a second. Okay, so with Forza, you know, you got a lot of this fanboy shit, you know, going back and forth between Forza and GT7.
Weelson said, I'm A+. Doing it 2 minutes 2.4 in the Supra.
Oh, nice. On this game, well, I've never hit at Bathurst. I've never hit 2 minutes flat on any game. I think the closest that I've ever come was on ACC. I think I did a 201.9. But at the time when I did that at the time that I set that lap at ACC, I was kind of at my peak on ACC. So anything that I was doing, the crazy part about it was I was actually faster on GT7 than I was on ACC, even though I preferred ACC, because any track times that I was setting on ACC, I was about a second faster on GT7. So for instance, when I was hitting 149s on Monza on ACC, I was hitting 148s on GT7. Now my fastest lap at Monza on ACC was a 147.7, which is damn near alien territory right there. So at the time that I did that, if I would have turned around and did a lap on GT7, I think I could have got into the low 147s or even the high 146s. So I mean, today's only like my second time playing GT7 in like 3 months. Yeah, I did a stream last week. So I know that if I was to put the work in on GT7, I know I could slash off a second or two off of my lap times. So coming back to the answer about Forza, given my opinion about it, I really want to like the game. The night races on Forza are the best that I have ever seen. The night races on Forza are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I'm no expert.
Weelson said, have you tried it now after the update?
Today's my first day.
It should be more close to ACC times now.
As far as GT7 goes, today's my first day trying it after the update. But that was a race on medium tires, so I have yet to do something on soft tires and see what would happen on soft tires. But I'll eventually get around to it. Back to Forza. The night races are the best that I've ever seen. The night races are gorgeous. I'm no expert on ray tracing, but the reflections that you see on the cars are unbelievable, and it's in real time. So when you're in an actual race and I'm right behind somebody,
said, oh my bad.
Oh yeah, no good. All good. When I'm in an actual race on Forza and I get right up on somebody's bumper, I actually see my car in the reflection of their car. Whereas all these other sims, they reflect the environment, but it doesn't reflect the live cars that's in there with it. So if I pull up, if I'm right up on a car like that, I will not see the reflection of my car on his bumper. Whereas on Forza I would. With Forza in the wet races, you can see the reflection of your own car. Even though it looks blurry, you can still see the reflection of your own car through the wet track. The lights, you see the lighting on the ground, the bloom. It's gorgeous. What I do not like about Forza is the handling. To demonstrate, I'll go around a corner and I'm turning the wheel, and once you turn the wheel past a certain point, the force feedback just drops off, and then the wheel just cranks over like that, and one of two things happen. I either oversteer the car and spin out, or the car severely understeers and I slide right off the track. So that is my biggest gripe with Forza. The handling makes it hard, and then I think the game doesn't have any trail braking. To get around a corner, you have to modulate the brakes. You have to pump the brakes. You can't trail brake around corners, because whenever I've tried to trail brake in the game, the wheels just seem to lock up and the car spins out. But I really want to like the game. The AI is an idiot on that game. The AI will ram you just as quick as a live person will. Throughout all that, I still want to like that game. I still want to give it a try. The most unfortunate part about Forza is that it doesn't have VR support, because I would love to be able to see those night races through VR. That would be incredible. And then with PSVR 2 going to PC, if they enabled the HDR on PC and Forza had VR support, I think it would look amazing. So the bottom line, the force feedback feels decent on Forza. So what it comes down to for me is the handling. Cars, like I said, when you turn the wheel past a certain point, the force feedback just drops off a cliff, and the wheel just cranks right over. And it feels really twitchy, because once you get right on that threshold, like I said, it'll drop off, and then when you come back to a certain point, the force feedback will kick in, and it doesn't do it gradually. It's like either the force feedback is on or it's off, and that's the big thing. So I go from going like this slowly to suddenly cranking the wheel over, and that's the biggest problem I have with Forza. Even if the handling of Forza were to match GT7, I would either call them equal. I would call them equal. But to me, that's what separates them. Both of them are good-looking games. I think there's areas where GT7 looks better than Forza, and vice versa. I think the night races on Forza look better. I think the car models on GT7 look better. I think
Weilson said, I haven't tried Forza yet. We'll be going straight to Automobilista 2 in VR.
Automobilista 2 is probably the most underrated game in sim racing. It has all the details, the physics, the force feedback. What I love the most about Automobilista 2 is the tire model and the damage model. If you lock up your wheels, you can get a flat spot. You hit the wall, your car's destroyed. When you put those two elements into a race, people will be careful, because when you're in a race, you can recover from a penalty, but you cannot recover from your car being destroyed. So a lot of people race respectfully on Automobilista 2.
Said. Agreed.
So a lot of people race respectfully on Automobilista 2. I don't see, even in open lobbies, I don't see a lot of dirty driving on Automobilista 2. I don't see a lot of driving on Le Mans Ultimate. But yeah, most of the dirty driving that I've seen has either been on Forza or GT7. And that's why I walked away from GT7. I was fed up with the dirty racing. But if I treat GT7 like a situation where I'm not trying to be competitive on GT7 the way I would on Le Mans Ultimate, I think I can come back to this game. But if I come back to this game in a competitive manner, wanting to be competitive, wanting to go all out to win races, and then somebody knocks me off the track to ruin my race, I'm going to be furious. And I'll end up getting mad and walking away from this game again. So, surprisingly, today's stream is, I've seen people do some stupid stuff on these 2 races that I did, but I don't think I've seen anything like that was super, super, super dirty. I don't have a problem with people defending their position. If they're trying to block me to keep me from getting past them, I'm okay with that. What I don't like is waiting for me to get on the side of them and then bumping me and knocking me straight off the track, or punting me, or whatever you want to call it. That was the stuff that made me walk away from this game before. So let me see here. It's an hour 19 minutes. Let's go ahead and get into this PSVR 2, the PC thing, so I can go ahead and wrap it up. So PSVR 2 came out last February. I guess, statistically, I guess it got off to a better start than the original PSVR 1, but I don't think it made the splash that Sony was hoping it was going to make. Then there was the rumors that Sony lowered their launch projections, because I guess they were looking at 2 million, and they ended up changing that because of the pre-orders. And I think what Sony was thinking that GT7, Resident Evil Village, and the Horizon Call of the Mountain games were going to be system sellers. They should have been system sellers, but I think in the case of Resident Evil Village, the VR came out months after the game had already come out. So I think they should have held that game back and launched the game and the VR together. So by the time it got VR support, a lot of people had already finished the game and probably didn't have any interest in coming back to it. GT7 in VR, I knew that was going to be niche. I knew there was only going to be only VR sim racing connoisseurs were going to be onto this. I mean, because like GT7 on PSVR 2 is the main reason I bought my PS5, and I bought my PS5 about a month after it launched. So yeah, so it was a painful couple of years waiting for PSVR 2 to come out, even though I already got PC headsets galore. PSVR 2, I believe, wasn't selling the way Sony had hoped. And it was rumored that they halted production. We weren't hearing anything about any games. And then they do this PC move. I think that was the sign that Sony was looking to get rid of stock. I felt like Sony probably had a whole warehouse full of headsets sitting around somewhere, and they were looking to get rid of them. So I think they thought that this PC move might sell a few headsets, but that, headset still wasn't moving. It wasn't until they finally did this massive price cut and dropped the headset down to $350 that they started moving headsets.
Rodney Wheeler said, I'm waiting to see what Asus is gonna bring to PCVR.
When you talk about Asus, are you talking about a graphics card, motherboard? Or is Asus planning to make a VR headset that I don't know about? So, yeah, I think this move to PC. I honestly think that I just think that's them clearing out stock. Rumor has it that Sony has washed their hands with PSVR 2. I don't know if that's true or not. We all know that there's supposed to be a couple of games in development.
Rodney
we don't
Wheeler
know anything after that.
Said, Asus has a deal with Meta. OneSpeed said, sup link long time. Rodney Wheeler said, you didn't hear.
I knew that Meta had made a deal with somebody, but I didn't know it was Asus.
Son said, all just rumors if you ask me. Only U.S-based journalism is reporting that currently the headset is sold out on Amazon.
And that's only because of the price cut. I can almost bet you that once that headset returns to its regular retail prices, the sales are going to come to a screeching halt. When the headset first came out, on paper, I thought it was worth the $550 for what you were supposed to be getting. 2040p resolution, HDR, OLED screens, the haptics, the head haptics, the haptics within the Sense controllers. And then I'm not going to lie. The first time I put the headset on, GT7 and Horizon Call of the Mountain were a blurry mess. I had to keep playing around with the settings to get it to a tolerable state. Visually, it is at a tolerable state. However, I do have an issue with the reprojection, especially like GT7, for instance. When you're going on the straightaway, the picture's clear. When you go around the corner, you start seeing that ghosting image, and it looks a little bit blurry. But I'm used to it. So I think once, do I think PSVR 2 is worth it? At $550? I'm not going to say that it's not worth it. But at $550, especially if you already have a PC, I think going with the Quest 3 would probably be a better move, because with the Quest 3, it's like you're getting two headsets in one. You got the standalone headset, and then you can use it as a PC headset. Whereas, Son
said, did you notice the improvements after the last update? The interior is a lot more clear now.
It seems like it looks a little more clear, but what I think is Sony's doing is I think they're moving resources around, because I've seen this happen before with PSVR 2. I've seen them put out silent updates and things look a little bit better, but I also notice more pop-in in the distance. And then when they come out with an update to try to reduce some of the pop-ins, then things don't look so sharp again. So I don't think it's a situation.
Rodney Wheeler said, Quest 3 also has AR.
True. So yeah, more and more mixed reality games are coming out for the Quest 3. Now, if you have a PC and you have a PS5, at this $350 sale price, I do think this headset is worth it. But if you have a PC and you don't have a PS5, at $550, like I said, I'm not gonna say that I don't think it's worth it. I just think the Quest 3 is better value.
Brutalsome de Guru said, I love my Quest 3.
Hold on, Brutal. Let me show you something here, partner. Let me show you something. Get these cords untangled. So, here you go, Brutal. Here's my Quest 3. Here's my old ass Oculus Rift S. Hold on. Right over here, I have my HP Reverb G2, but it's in the box. And I got a fan sitting on top of that box, so I don't feel like going and getting that out. Here is my old Quest 2. Here is, well, you see the PSVR 2. Here's my Quest Pro. And then, hold on. Hold on.
Brutalsome de Guru said, you got damn near all the VR headsets, LOL.
And then, here's my second Quest Pro. So, yeah, here's both of my Quest Pros. Now, the reason I bought a second Quest Pro, like as a PC headset, I absolutely love this Quest Pro. The pancake lenses of the Quest Pro give me unbelievable clarity. You know, you'll get that.
Rodney Wheeler said, since Boz hinted GTA VR is still in the works, maybe it's coming to PC and Meta first and Sony wants to grab sales from its release. Long shot idea.
I think the situation with San Andreas, I think it might have been a situation where Oculus or Meta was going to fund it.
Said, damn bro, can I have one, LOL.
Yeah, I got a ton of headsets. But yeah, I think Oculus started out funding the San Andreas
thing. De Guru said, true definition of an VR enthusiast.
Yeah. And then, hold on, I got one more VR headset, but I don't consider it to be a headset, a VR headset. This is a headset right here. My son has a drone. This thing is covered with cobwebs, oh my god. But got a drone right here that's got a camera in it. And so you wear this VR headset, so it seems like you're flying around in virtual reality.
Weilson said, VRF.T.W.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got a bunch of toys around here. Let me see here. What else do I got here? Here's a cheap flight stick.
Rodney Wheeler said, at Brutalsome de Guru Lincoln channel helped me build my first PC.
Oh yeah. And then let me see here. I got they covered with dust. But here's my extra set of brake pedals, CSL Elite pedals. Let me see. Then there's my other racing wheel. Ironic. You see the steering wheel right there inside this car?
Son said, "What do you drive in real life?"
I've got 3 old cars. I got a and then here's my McLaren racing wheel. But in real life, I've got a Toyota Camry, a 2007 Toyota Camry, but that's my son's car once he gets his license. I have a 2006 Acura RL, and I have a 2008 Lexus LS460. So they're all old. They're old cars, but they're all paid for. That's the way I like it. I'd rather drive an old car that's paid for than to drive a new car and have to, give half of my money away for it. I think, and I had already showed you guys. Yeah, I still got a
Rodney Wheeler said, "You have enough equipment to have a sim racing tournament, LOL."
Yeah. Here's a loose 2070 laying around. Cause I've went down a rabbit hole with these PCs. Jeez. Let me show you guys. See here, grab all these boxes and show you guys. Hold on. So here's 4 boxes right here. These are all the motherboards that I bought. And then that's 4 boxes right there. And then here's the 5th box. This, still got the motherboard inside of it. I showed this to you guys at the beginning of the stream. And this is my motherboard with a Intel motherboard with a i9 12900K in it, and so it's just laying around trying to decide what I'm going to do with it because I switched over to the AMD chip. So, jeez, all the money I've spent, and then I had two PS5s, but I sold one of them. Xbox One S, I had that thing forever, so I don't even really want to count that.
Son said, "Nice. I've got a 550 HP R32 GTR, a R31 4-door GT and a 443 HP R33 GT ST Coupe."
Woo-wee!
Rodney Wheeler said, "I thought AMD wasn't that good for VR."
Well, yeah. So what made me switch over to AMD, first of all, I did it at the advice of my friend Ham. But I started having problems about a month ago. My PC was crashing. And I'll try to give you guys the short version because sometimes I get dizzy even thinking about this shit. The computer was crashing. I went through, took it apart, put it back together, thermal paste, all that stuff. Still crashing. Then I took the case off and put a fan in front of it, and it stayed running long enough for me to get into the computer and try to see if there was a software issue. And so I deleted a couple of the Gears of War games because I thought they were causing a problem. I thought maybe they were corrupt. And the computer was still crashing. So now that's what started me going down that rabbit hole where I had bought I showed you guys all those motherboard boxes. That's not including the 2 motherboards that I returned. I returned one of them to Amazon and the other one to Best Buy. So I went down, bought several motherboards trying to pinpoint the problem. And long and short of it is, I ended up going with the 7800 X3D. That's supposed to be the best chip for gaming. So with the 7800 chip, for gaming, it is absolutely a marvelous chip. But it's not, I don't think it's for multitasking. When I added the extra weight of OBS, the Oculus Mirror, speech chat, which you guys are listening to, and other apps that I had to open, SimHub, Crew Chief, all that kind of stuff, I think it put an added weight onto the PC where you know, things were starting to run a little bit skittish. So, and I was also streaming from the same PC, which I could do that with the Intel, because all those apps that I was talking about, I could move them over to the efficiency cores. The 12900K has 24 cores, 16 performance cores, and 8 efficiency cores. So like the VR and all the other apps like speech chat, all that stuff, I moved it all to the efficiency cores. So because the 7800 is strictly a performance chip, I've got to go back to the 2 PC thing. So that's one of the reasons why I was late with this stream, because I was still trying to get shit sorted out with my capture card. I was still trying to get shit sorted out with the NDI plugin, the OBS NDI plugin. But I think we just about got everything just about ready to go. So I think I got everything out that I wanted to say about PSVR 2. What I did want to say is that I'm wondering how much headsets they've sold because of this temporary price cut. I wonder if that's got Sony rethinking their strategy. I'm wondering if they're thinking that, hey, you know, we'll sell whatever stock we got and then we're done, or did a light bulb go off in Sony's head that, yeah, maybe $550 was too much. If maybe we keep the price at $350, maybe we can actually sell a few things. People can make some money, and maybe they'll start manufacturing some more. But Sony, I mean, they refuse to take a pay cut. They refuse to take a price cut or a loss with the original PSVR. They absolutely refused it. So they understood that the headset was not going to fly off the shelves. This go round, I think Sony was actually thinking that they would be able to keep this same price point, and thought the launch games were going to be system sellers. And again, you know, GT7 comes out.
Wheelson said, they definitely won't abandon VR. LOL, trust me, winking face.
I hope so. I hope that's right. But I think the mistakes that they made thinking that this headset was going to sell like hotcakes when it launched. GT7 launches.
Rodney Wheeler said, it was to be able to match Quest 3's coming soon maybe.
I don't know if you can consider Quest 3 and PSVR 2 competition, because, you know, PSVR 2 started out on strictly console and had nothing to do with PC. And then Quest 3, if you don't put it on a PC... Brutalsome de Guru
said, do what Microsoft did and take loss on the hardware and profit on the software end.
I mean, Sony took a loss with the PS5, but for whatever reason, they refused to take a loss with PSVR 2. And, you know, as I was about to say, you know, GT7, yeah, I think if it would have got VR support when the game launched, I think they would have sold a lot more headsets. Same thing with Resident Evil Village. That was a launch title, but it came to VR like a year after the game came out. And then I think with Horizon Call of the Mountain, I think the reason why that game didn't sell well is because I think people wanted to see more of Aloy and not just a cameo, because she was only in there for like 2 seconds and that was it. I think they should have made that game into a co-op game where Aloy goes on the adventure with you. If they would have done it like that, I think Horizon Call of the Mountain would have been more successful, and it would have sold more headsets. And then there's also the price. $550 is quite expensive to ask people to jump into VR. And then the other thing that I think prevented the headset from being a system seller is that Sony promised bigger and better experiences with PSVR 2, and by that I think people interpreted that as maybe we could see Spider-Man or God of War in VR. I'm convinced by now that it's not going to happen. But no question about it, if we would have gotten Spider-Man, God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty, any of those games.
PSVR 2 having a display port will make it a dominant PC VR headset. It will have a clarity advantage over Q3.
I disagree
Rodney
with
Wheeler
that. I disagree with that because
they dropped the ball not bringing Star Wars Squadron and Skyrim to PS5.
I agree with that because I absolutely love Star Wars Squadron and its crossplay. Naturally, I've got it on PC, but yeah, I definitely wanted to see Star Wars Squadron come to PSVR 2. Coming back to, I disagree with PSVR 2 having a sharper picture than Quest Pro or Quest 3 because they have pancake lenses, and PSVR 2 is still using the older Fresnel lenses. I think PSVR 2 is only going to look as good as the PC that's powering it. If you got a beast for a PC, yeah, it's going to look good. You got a potato, may not look so good. And that's just my opinion. But I'm going to get the adapter, so we're going to find out. Now, before I got my Quest Pro, the sharpest picture I had ever seen on a VR headset was my Reverb G2. That picture was unbelievably sharp. The problem was it had a super small sweet spot. I mean, it had a sweet spot about the size of a human eye pupil, and anything outside of that sweet spot had soft edges or it was outright blurry. PSVR 2 has a little bit bigger sweet spot than the G2, but I still think it has a small sweet spot. In the case of the Quest Pro and the Quest 3, because they have pancake lenses, there is no sweet spot. Once you get that headset fitted to where you can see clearly, the clarity is edge to edge.
Said, the pancake lens is a huge game changer.
Absolutely. Once you go pancake, you can't go back. However, I did pre-order the Pimax Crystal Light. I got a letter from them about 3 weeks ago because the headset was supposed to ship, I think, in June. And I got a letter from them saying that it was going to ship in July because they're still doing some testing, yada, yada, yada. So they try to encourage me to step up to the Pimax Crystal with local dimming. But that's an extra $200. I just do not want to pay it. And besides, this Quest Pro has local dimming. So if I want deep blacks, I'll use my Pro. And the OLED panels of this PSVR 2, using it as a PC headset, that'll give me my blacks too if I absolutely must have blacks. But so yeah, so we're looking at what, another week, and then PSVR 2 goes live on PC.
Rodney Wheeler said, for true VR users, PC will always be the way to go.
I agree. If you give me two games the PSVR 2 version and the PC version, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick the PC version. The PC version has a sharper picture. There's no way around it. The one VR game.
Wheelson said, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. The one game that I don't care whether I'm playing on PC or PSVR 2 is Pavlov. Honestly speaking, the experience is actually better on PSVR 2 because of the head haptics and the haptics within the controllers. Case in point, one time I was playing Pavlov and I felt the vibration on my head and I heard pang, and I was like, what the hell was that? And I turned and looked on the ground. My helmet was on the ground. I had been shot in the head and it blew my helmet off my head. So I'm thinking, okay, you get hit in the head one more time, that's it. And you feel the resistance in the triggers. In some games, you know, where you jam up the gun and stuff like that, you feel that resistance. So Pavlov is a game that looks better on PC, but the haptics make it a better experience on PSVR 2. So unfortunately, the haptics, the head haptics won't be there on PC. The adaptive triggers won't be there on PC. You're just going to have your classic rumble that you would get out of any other VR headset. And that's another reason why I feel like at $550 the Quest 3 would be a better value for it to use as a PC headset. However, when the Quest 3S comes out, that is rumored to launch at $300. But from what I understand, it won't have pancake lenses, it'll have Fresnel lenses. But still, that's going to be a no-brainer. You know, $300 Quest 3S or $550 PSVR 2. And then, like, if you want to play it away from PC, you would still need a PS5. And that's the other thing that blows me away about some of the fanboyism that I was seeing on Twitter, was how people in the beginning was talking about the barrier to entry and how much more it costs to get a, you know, to have a PC and to get a PC headset, talking about it could cost you anywhere from, you know, $1,500 to $2,000, whereas the PSVR and PS5, you know, will cost you about $1,100. Well, now that it's getting VR support, those same people who praised PSVR 2 having a lower barrier to entry than PC VR are now acting like this is such an amazing move that you know, it's getting VR support, and like, oh my god, now I'll be able to play Half-Life Alyx. Well, you were able to play Half-Life Alyx before PSVR 2 was getting PC support. So so the fanboyism that I was seeing on Twitter was just mind-boggling. So, jeez, I've been going on 2 hours. I think it might be time for me to get ready to hang it up, or I might try to slip in a daily race on Le Mans
Rodney Wheeler
before I go to bed.
Said, let's hope we are all wrong. I hope Sony has a big title that is going to be on PC and PS5 we don't know about.
That's a catchy one right there, because I think since PSVR 2 on PS5 didn't sell the way Sony had hoped, releasing this game, whatever games they're working on, if they release it as a PSVR 2 exclusive, they may not recoup their money. However, if they did release it to PC, they would probably definitely get their money back.
Said, gotta fly dude. Catch ya again soon.
Hey, appreciate you popping in. Deuces, have a good night. If they were to release whatever games they're working on, if they were to release them on PC as well as PSVR 2, I think they would definitely get their money back, but it would be a slap in the face to the people who bought PS5 and PSVR 2 for the exclusive titles.
Rodney Wheeler said, but look into Asus headset that is coming out. Meta is allowing third parties to use the Meta VR OS.
Okay. Now I get it. I totally forgot about that, about Meta licensing out the headset to third parties. So like, because I think
Brutalsome de Guru said, people were mad when I did the initial review of the PSVR 2 and said it wasn't as sharp as the Quest 3.
It's not. I didn't like. I did a little bit of. Honestly speaking, you could probably say I did a little bit of damage control when PSVR 2 came out. Leading up to the release of PSVR 2, I championed that headset. I was telling people that it was worth every penny. I'm like, you're getting 4K resolution, HDR, OLED panels, haptic triggers, and then, I expected that we would get the best exclusive on PSVR 2. So on paper, the headset sounded like it was worth every penny of the $550
Rodney Wheeler
asking price.
Said, and that's why Sony had to make moves so they don't get pushed out the market.
So the day that I got PSVR 2, because I got it day one, it's like I said before, when I fired that headset up and I saw Horizon Call It a Mountain and I saw GT7, my first thought was, what the fuck is this blurry shit? I was like, there's no way that this headset is worth $550 looking like this. And then there was the mirror that people was complaining about, like the dirty look, how the screen looked dirty. And then like you seen all these videos came out of how to adjust the settings to reduce the mirror to get a sharper picture and shit like that, and it made the picture less blurry, but it did not make the picture PC sharp. So I've had my days with GT7. Some days I would look at GT7 and I'm like, it looks okay. Other days I would see it, I would put the headset on, especially after wearing my Quest Pro, and I was like, man, this shit look blurry today. I just don't feel like looking at this shit. And then I would take the headset off. So some days I could deal with it, some days I couldn't. I think what it comes down to is, I do not think PS5 has enough power.
Brutalsome de Guru said, that was my thoughts as well.
Definitely. I think what it came down to is I think PS5 does not have enough power to push some of these games. Because I think the proof is in the pudding that a lot of the games that came to PSVR 2 were the Quest versions of those games and not the PC version of those games. Not only that, and I've said this so many times before and I'm going to say it again. Assetto Corsa Competizione, when it got the next gen patch, 4K, HDR, 30 cars, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, with that kind of shit, I'm thinking to myself, maybe PS5 is going to have enough power to run ACC in VR on PS5. So one of the developers for Kunos, his name is Aristoteles, he used to do community streams where he would give back to the community and let people race with him. He would answer questions, yada, yada, yada. So just to make sure he would see my question, I super chatted him and I asked him, I said, will ACC get VR support on PS5? His exact words were, he said, too many resources. The console's not strong enough. Originally, I didn't believe him, but after I got my hands on PSVR 2 and I started to see the flaws in it, I was like, okay, yeah, he's right. And then right now, GT7 is the only racing game on PSVR 2. It's the only racing game on PS5 with VR support. I was hoping that we would get F124 with VR support. We didn't get it. You know, we got it on PC. WRC didn't get VR support. So that, I was trying to figure out if it came down to the console not being strong enough to push those games in VR, or was it a situation where Sony told them don't give those games VR support, because if any other racing games get VR support on PSVR 2, people could gravitate towards those games. And Sony would essentially lose out on potential
Brutalsome de
Microsoft
Guru
money.
said, "You right, the console just isn't strong enough."
No, because one game that I could almost guarantee will never come to PSVR 2 with VR support is Microsoft Flight Simulator with VR support. That is one of the most demanding games that I have ever played with VR support. I had to use the OpenXR toolkit to, to reduce the stress on the PC. So, been on she's been on exactly 2 hours now, so it's probably about time for me to get ready to wrap it up. Depending on what the daily race is, because we get new daily races on Le Mans Ultimate every Tuesday. Depending on what the new daily race is, I could possibly stream tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, probably Wednesday. So in the near future, that's about all I can say. I did like today's daily race because Bathurst is one of my favorite tracks, regardless of what game it's on. So I won't rule out coming back to do another GT7 stream this week either. So with that, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Shout out to my boy Brutal Sim. I appreciate you hanging out, my guy. Shout out to my other guy, Ham VR. Thank you so much for your help. Appreciate it, my guy. And I think lastly, shout out to my boy King Thrash.
Rodney Wheeler said, "You need to do more Wakanda videos and just talk about VR."
One of the reasons why I stopped doing
Brutalsome de Guru said, "Nice great stream, my G."
Appreciate it, man. One of the reasons why I stopped doing podcasts, because I really did enjoy doing those way back in the days, doing the Lincoln show and doing my other show, Live from Wakanda. I kind of stopped doing those shows because one was I wanted to actually play games instead of sitting behind a mic and talking about games. There's a lot of people out there with podcasts where they sit there and talk about game after game after game like they're, ravaged fanboys, but you never see them play anything. And then they get exposed on Twitter where somebody shows their Xbox account and you see they only got like 3 achievements unlocked, and they talk about how they played a game for this many hours and yada yada yada. that's not me. You know, I definitely show my stream account, my Steam account, and show you how many hours that I've played these Sims. You know, because I've got hundreds of hours in all these Sims, you know, combined. The Lincoln Show, I stopped doing the Lincoln Show because I was a super small channel at the time, only like 200 subs, but yet, you know, I was, you know, through my friends, they were helping me get big name YouTubers onto the show. I think at the time that I did the, Lincoln Show, the biggest YouTuber that I had on there is Gamertag VR, which, you know, we've been friends going all the way back to when he had 3,000 subs. Now I think he's got close to 70,000. So at the time that he came on the show, he had 3,000 subs. So I would say at the time that I was doing the Lincoln Show, the biggest YouTuber that I had on there was Foxy Games UK. And I think at the time that he was a guest, he had about 15,000 subs. But yeah, it was difficult reaching out to all these all these big YouTubers. You know, some of them would say I'm too busy. Some of them would say I'll think about it. Some of them say I'll have to get back with you. You know, yada yada yada. So it just ended up drying up, and I just ended up not doing the show anymore. And then that's when I had switched over to Live from Wakanda, combining the latest news, flat screen and VR. But now I'm a 100% sim racer, VR sim racer. If I do podcasts, it'll be like this, where I'm doing a few laps around the track and talking to you about things, but like full blown, like sitting in front of a computer monitor. I don't know if I'll go back to that format. It'll be pretty much like what you saw today. Do a few laps, talk about this, talk about that. So, all right, I did some extra rambling. I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up. I want to thank you all for watching. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. If not tomorrow, we'll see you Wednesday. With that, you all have a good night, and until the next one, you all know the line. Wakanda forever, long live the king, and deuces. We'll see you, everybody.